IPMNation.com.
Previously on Angry Drunk Tales.
I'm not in the mood to exchange pleasantries with you, and I'm sure you don't really care how I am. I don't want to hear your story. I know what happened, and it's happened before.
Who gave you the right to poke your nose in my life?
Be angry.
Just leave me alone.
No, you started this, my sanctimonious little sister-in-law. You didn't approve.
Me write angry emails.
Well, of course I care. You're still part of the family.
Shut up. Stay out of my life.
Now climb down off your soapbox, honey.
Episode 29. You are all losers.
Me still angry. Me continue to write long, rambling, drunken emails. Me continue to be angry over incident several weeks ago. Me have emotional intelligence of 5-year-old child. Me bitter and frustrated with myself over being drunken 300-pound tub of shit. Me undiagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Me
my mother's old douchebag.
Me write angry emails. Me hate everyone.
Welcome to episode 29 of Angry Drunk Tales. I slipped. I almost said emails. We could have just as easily called the show that, I suppose. But Angry Drunk Tales gives it a certain. I think a show like this deserves a certain distinction. It's a classy show.
If you say so.
So, Angry Drunk Tales. It sounds distinctive and classy.
Or disturbing, depending upon whether or not you've been listening all along. I'm Jen Coffey.
And I'm Matt Connerton, and we're the former roommates of the douchebag who we feature in this show, who likes to send us long, rambling, drunken, insane emails even after we've left. And by the way, I misspoke at the end of last night's episode. I said, because we had featured one email from August 8th, and I said, that's all we got August 8th. He actually showed an uncommon amount of restraint and only sent us one email that night. I was mistaken.
You were?
And I gave him too much credit. He sent a whole series of emails that night. It's just that the next email that he sent, instead of adding it to that chain of emails, he started a new thread because he started on this next one. He decided to include a bunch of his friends.
Oh,
this is where he starts.
Serious.
Yes. This is where he starts including his friends because they all tell him he's right about everything.
That's right. All four of them tell him he's right.
Yes.
That's right.
He's right and we're wrong. Mm-hmm. So he copies his friends on these emails. And this is the same guy, by the way, who recently, and you'll hear this in more detail when we eventually get caught up to the present day, if we ever get caught up to the present day at this rate. Well, if we get caught up to what's been happening lately, which we will definitely, of course. He's accused us of cyberbullying and all this. The guy, the guy who sends us these emails and then starts now including his friends on these emails where he's defaming our character and just blatantly lying about us, now is accusing us of cyberbullying him with this show. It's just
Go
amazing.
ahead and try and wrap your head around that one for a moment, folks. We'll let you try and sink that one in.
Yeah. So this is the next email that we got that same night, August 8th. And this one, he copied his little friends on. So here we go. So you know, the skin on that bar is temporary. I needed to build a bar to stake out my space because my previous roommates were trying to take over the whole place. I was too accepting of that, by the way. I basically skinned it as cheap as I could to stake out some of my own space and such. I plan on eventually changing the outer skin of that bar, but the moundings I really want are quite expensive. So I can improve it when I have time and such. It's not bad, but not 100% of what I really want either. It was an attempt to basically keep users and manipulators from taking over my entire home at the time. At the end of the day, I ended up having to kick them out because they had no respect for me or what I want to do in my own home. I think you can understand that. So much to the point that these last 2 weeks, I bought enough crap to put on my walls and no one else has space to put shit up that might offend me. Because they did that regularly too, by the way. Decorating my walls with right-wing conspiratorial nonsense and such, and thinking it was funny that they could get away with posting shit that I thought was offensive. But they enjoyed doing shit like that. Like, how much can we fuck with the liberal guy type thing? I can ignore other people's views quite easily until they are shoved into my face all the time in offensive ways. I can put up with a lot of shit, but I really don't like things being forced in front of my face that I find offensive. And the people that put them there finding it as a joke that they managed to put it there either. They actually laughed that they could get away with putting some of that shit up. I am so glad those losers are gone. Every one of them was a loser with the idea that they are media stars. But they are nothing but losers. One person paid $50 per month to live here, and 3 lived here on that amount. And they kept taking over more and more of the apartment, but never paid anymore. Complete and total losers who project themselves as anything but that. Want to see the 47% that Romney spoke of? Look at these losers. But they are Republican. They have no desire to actually work for a living or any such thing. They live off their own bullshit, basically. Fine, upstanding bullshit artists is what they are. They hate anyone who gets government benefits, while they live off one woman's admittedly deserved SSDI and such. 3 of them live off of her benefits. And the boyfriend and son never want to work for anyone else. All they care about is what they can get for next to nothing. And yes, they are on cable access TV, thus proving a joke about cable TV, that people on cable access are losers. The only thing that a cable access show proves to me is that the person with that show is such an egotist that they are willing to pay $23 per month to annoy everyone else and hear their own voice. Congratulations, Jen and Matt. You are huge successes at displaying your own egos. You should be very proud of yourselves for that. Good for you. No one else might care what you have to say, but I know quite well that both of you are so self-infatuated with yourselves that it approaches almost an incestual thing. Like, basically, you both just want the chance to fuck yourselves because you each are so much in love with yourself and your own bullshit. The 2 of you are so full of crap, it's amazing to me. Both of you think you are clever, but you are both stale as hell, by the way. Same old crap everywhere else. Speaking of scams, having your son promote your podcast and cable access show as part of his internship in college, the one where he's expected to work for a legit enterprise, that seems to me like a pretty good scam. I have to wonder about this too, by the way, since I know college students can get third-party funds to support their internships, whether this was part of your scam. Sorry, I know you are Phoenix proud. Sorry if I'm choosing to point out your hypocrisies in such a public forum. But at the end of the day, you people redefine white trash. For those who don't get this all was meant for two people who chose to take advantage of me and then act like martyrs when I tired of them and their bullshit, yet continue to tell people that I'm the asshole in what they did. They are exploiters and nothing else. This is meant for Matt and his girlfriend, who supposedly I'm not allowed to send anything to, but basically was the number one person to do just about anything she wanted without ever asking first, including moving her son in and turning my apartment into her house. Yet I'm the asshole? No, Jen Coffey is a duplicitous bitch who plays games to get what she wants and then gets bothered when she gets caught playing those games. A consummate politician who plays politics in real life every bit as equally as she does or did in Concord, playing people against each other to get whatever she might want. And for me, Jen Coffey proves something to me about the current state of politics. That politicians are basically drafted. That they find people just like her that can be effectively, seem genuine, and then promote them as the party brand. Modern politicians are not what they used to be, say like when JFK was a politician, or even Reagan. Now we draft them in like football does. So we get just the right ones. As far as the party controllers are concerned, which makes me think Jen Coffey could have a very good future as a Tea Party bullshit artist. There you go.
Where to begin? Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of lies.
Huge amount. And now we've included other people that we don't know.
Yeah.
That he's defaming us to.
Yep.
No matter how many times he's been told that Jess had the same job for 2 years. And not only did he have the same job for 2 years, he'd received promotion and raises, and he was merely on a leave of absence for his internship. And yes, it's totally legit. And most kids end up with unpaid internships. He's doing marketing and advertising. He had to do marketing and advertising. He had to put in his hours. He had to do his job. And that's what he had to do. And he did so and then some. So that's fairly common for every college student. Rarity, it does happen on rare occasions. You hear of a kid who gets an internship that's paid.
Yeah.
But it's very rare. Very, very rare.
By the way, a couple of other themes here that pop up in this that I want to point out. One is this continuing thing about paying to be on the air, this $23 a month thing and whatnot.
Where does that come from?
I don't know, but I think our sponsors and advertisers who pay the bills, because that's how radio works and that's what we do, regardless of what he wants to claim it is, this is a legitimate business and that's what it is. I think they'd be very surprised
I think
hear
they'd be
this.
offended.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, they would probably just shrug it off as, well, he's obviously out of his mind anyway. But
is that a play on words because we're powered by the Atlas Society?
is what
Shrug
a plan
it
was.
off.
Oh, I didn't even think of that when I said it. I didn't even think of that.
And all his complaining about Atlas Shrug.
Well, and another theme too that keeps coming up
John
is
Galt.
Yeah. Well, another theme too that keeps coming up is he keeps describing me as a Republican. And
Yeah.
I'm not and
And-
have never been a Republican. I'm actually a registered Democrat.
How the hell am I supposed to take his offense to me putting up, and actually he's the one that hung them, the portrait of my great-great-grandmother and grandfather and their children, and pictures of my mom and dad, and pictures of my great-aunt and uncle, and pictures of me with my son. I mean, that's what was in the actual living room.
Maybe he assumed those were all pictures of Ayn Rand's family.
You don't think he caught the resemblance? No?
I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, we do
With his mush
have
brain.
distinguished hair in my side of the family.
Maybe
All the
he's
women.
maybe he's really deep down an anti-Semite.
That's entirely possible.
He comes off as like a homophobe when he starts insinuating that he thinks Jesse's gay. He comes off like a homophobe when he says that shit.
Yeah.
Even though I love too, by the way, he talks about having things shoved in his face. As I was reading this and he's talking about having things shoved in his face, it's like, I bet he doesn't mind a big dick shoved in his face.
Apparently not.
Because we know from his sexual history that
Which we really didn't want to know.
No, but he told me. He told me during one of our summits, I've done everything except taking it in the ass. And he seemed proud of that.
Goody for you, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, he keeps painting.
Tested?
He keeps painting me as this Republican who hates anyone getting benefits and whatnot, which is funny because on my show, I have spoken many, many times, railed against the people who stereotype people who get any help from the benefit, people who demean and run down people who use EBT cards, how people will say, oh, no one should ever get any help. And I rail against those people who say that shit. And I stick up.
Lying.
I stick up for people all the time who need help. And
You're
he's
a registered Democrat too.
Right. And he's trying to
But that
paint
doesn't
me.
matter.
He's trying to paint me as this uber right winger who thinks that no one should get any help.
You're lying.
What am I lying about?
Everything.
Oh, according to
Because you're not. You may be a registered Democrat, but you're truly a Republican at heart.
according to him, I am. I've never been a Republican ever. And
Well,
nor do I.
Excuse me.
Nor do I see myself joining you folks.
What you say that like it's a bad thing. I mean, maybe if you had some fiscal sense about you, you would join the
God.
Republican side of the aisle.
If I join-
you would understand that fiscal conservatism is what's going to save our nation.
I am a fiscal conservative. It's just there's a lot of things about there's a lot of things about the Republican Party I agree with, and I've voted for Republicans in the past. But there's also a lot of things that I find repulsive. But I can also say the same thing about the Democrats.
Absolutely.
That's why I regard myself as an independent. But it's just funny the way he tries to paint me as something else, just because. But
Well, I'm a what did he refer to me as? Pretty nasty.
Tea
actually.
Party bullshit artist.
No, there was a bitch quote in there. That was pretty
Oh.
bad.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, he's such
There was
a
a lot
lovely
in there.
human being.
Well, we'll finish.
language.
We'll finish that off. But we have another plot twist in next week's episode. So don't forget to come back. I guess we have another Thursday cliffhanger. I keep mistiming that. Anyway, come back for episode 30 tomorrow night. We have a bit of a twist in our story. Even though you wouldn't think there could be any more twists now that we're out, but no, there's still more plot twists
Lots more to come.
in our story. All right, so I don't know if you have someone accusing you of decorating an apartment with nothing but Ayn Rand, what would you do?
Smile.
Good night.
Night.
My mother's old douchebag.
IPMNation.com.